What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the spinoff. I am your host, Brian Knutson, Husker Nation. With me today, you're going to remember this man, number 5, Benard Thomas, former Blackshirt, former Husker, once a Husker, always a Husker, no matter what. Benard, thank you for joining me today.
How you doing, sir? How you doing? How's everything going?
Hey, not too bad. You know, it's Nebraska. We got some more snow today, so it's still cold. It's wintertime in Nebraska. You remember that.
Yeah, all unfortunately, I do.
All right, so we'll just roll right into it. At your early years, how young were you when you really started to take football or athletics in itself seriously?
Um, when I took it serious from a really young age. I mean, playing major football is something I wanted to do ever since I was a tyke man. So, I mean, as far as back as I can remember, running into somebody is what I wanted to do.
So was that something that was defense always just going to be it for you? Just hitting somebody, laying somebody out, knowing you're not going to get in any trouble for it. Was that just something that just resonated with you right from the start?
Of course not. I thought I was the next. I thought I was the next Jerry Rice. Throw me the ball.
So you
Throw
played
me the
receiver,
ball.
play receiver on offense then in high school. How did that go? How did you not? When did it transition to defense?
Transitioned my junior year. I thought I was going to be Jerry Rice, and I was a sophomore on varsity. I did okay, but nothing spectacular. And then my coach he moved me to tailback and defensive end. We didn't. I didn't come off the field like I was in the mix the whole time, but he felt I'd be better served running the ball and getting in the backfield. So I was actually heartbroken. I think I shed a couple tears once he broke me the news, and but he said it would serve you and the team better to put you on defense. So I was young. I didn't know any better. But I was an oversized kid anyway. So it is what it is. Once I made the transition, then good things started happening.
Oh, absolutely. We'll get into that. As Husker fans, we all know what happened transitioning to defense. But I guess being in high school, I mean, you still see it nowadays. It's a lot playing Iron Man football, playing both sides of the ball. So is that something that you really was that something maybe you wanted to try to pursue in college, is playing both sides if you were allowed?
Most definitely. Hand that thing to me for short yardage, man. Hey, we had great eye backs when I was there, so they could have took the majority of the time. But hey, man, let me punch that thing in the goal line.
Hey, Refrigerator Perry did it for the Bears, man. There ain't no Sue did it for us a few times, so there ain't no reason why you couldn't have before then.
Hey, man, Coach Gillespie, I asked him a couple times. He was a running backs coach when I was there, and he just looked at me. He was like, "Yeah, go ahead, go back on the other side." I was like, "Oh man." He was he was like, "We got big backs that could do the job." I was like, "Oh, come on, man! You're taking away my dream. Let me just punch one in." That's all I needed was one.
So, staying with the early years in high school, what was high school football like in, I believe it was Palo Alto, California?
East. So the city I'm from is called East Palo Alto, but I was able to go to a private school in Mountain View. So football is way bigger in California than what people think it is. It's serious business. And the private school that I was at, they took everything serious when it came to the sport. So we averaged like 5,000 at a game. We had some pretty big games. I mean, we had a nice sized stadium, and You know, when we had our rival games and big games, you know, we put people in the stands.
So would you kind of, I guess, for a visual, the movie Varsity Blues, the way that town took it in West Canaan, Texas, would you kind of say that was about the way it was, just packed, you know, butt to butt cheek and no room?
We put them in the stands.
I love it,
We
man. I
put them in the
love it.
stands. We put the people in the stands. You know, being where we're at. You know, I was fortunate enough to see a decent sized fan base early and understand what fans mean to the game. And you look up and you see all those people waving and screaming. You know, it was pretty cool.
Yeah, I'll say there's no better feeling than when you're on the field and you know that a crowd's behind you. Sometimes you don't hear them while you're playing, though. You completely zoned out, but when you do notice it, it's a heck of a feeling, that's for sure.
For sure.
All right, so during your recruiting time, coming into college, was there a school that could have maybe drawn you away from Nebraska, and if so, why?
3 schools.
All right, let's hear it. Give it.
Florida State, Miami, and Florida. Those are the only other schools that I would have wanted to go to.
So what was
So
it about each one that could have brought you there? Was it just the Sunshine State?
at the end of the '90s, man, I graduated in 2000. Like those 3 teams were having fun and playing with swag and I mean and knocking boys out the park. So growing up watching these teams, it was just always I was just always a fan, especially that Florida State team with Bull Ware, Peter Ward,
Yeah.
Warwick Dunn. You know, that was and I told Coach Solich, I was like, I'm coming to Nebraska unless I get an offer from Florida State.
Never got the offer from Florida State, huh?
Nah, it didn't come. It didn't matter. They wasn't that good while we was in college anyway.
That's very true. That's very true, man. You know, I don't think I could have seen you in the Florida State colors. I just don't think it would have looked right, man. Having you with that prominent red N on the helmet, that's a symbol that just sticks with me.
Yeah, it was. I mean, it was definitely special and earned when I was in college. You know, we had 2 separate locker rooms. You got the dungeon. You got that dungeon when you're a freshman or you're a walk-on, and then there's that varsity locker room. And when you get to make the transition, like it meant something. I mean, and I don't know. I don't think I don't believe they don't have that now. You know what I mean? I'm just everything, the whole culture when I was there. If you want it, you got to work for it, and nobody's gonna give it to you. And if you want it, you got to take it. Like everything, once I landed in Nebraska, was built on being tough and being resilient.
Absolutely. That's kind of the mentality that a lot of Nebraskans take pride in. So the fact that you came in, you knew that right away, that speaks volumes about your character and who you are from the get go, especially coming from the West Coast.
Yeah. Hey. That snow toughened me up. That snow toughened me up pretty good is what it did. But other than that, you know, it was definitely something I learned it once I got there. You know, I wasn't no punk, but at the same time, dealing with being a high school kid, getting in the mix with these grown men was different, you know, like the speed of the game. You know, you jump out there and you've got somebody like Tony Fanote and Dominic Raiola and Kyle Vanden Bosch and Chris Kelsey and Des Moines Adams. You know, then you got running backs like Carell Buckhalter and Willie Miller coming at you. Like these these are grown men
Yeah.
coming
Yeah,
downhill.
Willie was a beast. Willie was a Mack truck just coming through there. That guy was fun to watch as well. So, what was it like going up against him in practice? Was that something you look forward to, just meeting head to head?
Let's just say at a young age, before we know what we know now, I mean, I might have had a couple concussions. You know what I mean? But I learned a lot from those older guys. You know what I mean? Carlos Polk and all those guys, like they, you know what I mean, it was the culture was this is what it is. Either you're gonna last or it's gonna break you. So I really appreciate those older guys for teaching me that. You know what I mean? And I appreciate the coaches for letting those guys teach us what we learned. You know what I mean? Like the long and short of it is the kids nowadays are too soft. They wouldn't be able to last in those locker rooms. Not at all.
So, during your recruiting process, then, what was ultimately the X factor that you said, that's it, Nebraska's it, I'm going there, recruitment's closed?
Oh, honestly, I mean, I felt like I was an underrated player because I didn't have all the offers. So I said, I'm going to whoever's ranked the highest. Florida State was number 1, and Nebraska was number 2 when I came out. So that's what helped me make my decision. I mean, I'm not scared to compete.
Yeah, I like that answer. It's straightforward. I mean, no other answer except I'm going where it looks best, where they offered. So I like that. That's a straight up answer. That's perfect. All right.
A
So
lot of kids nowadays are so much worried about everybody's worried about playing time and who you're behind. You know what I mean, and which is understood. You know, I get that you got to see how many guys you have to you're going to be waiting behind, but at the same time, you can't be scared to compete. I mean, every position on the field except for a quarterback, there's 2. So if you're not able to play, if you're not able to be one of the 2, then hey, maybe you're not that good.
So what did it feel like when you finally earned that black shirt? What you kind of walk me through that. What is the process in you getting your black shirt? How do they present it to you? And what was the feeling like when you got it?
It's top secret.
Okay, no problem. All right. But the feeling though, what was the feeling like?
It was a great feeling. You know what I mean? Like, you know, I was a loudmouth when I got to college, and you know, I got to a point where, you know, I didn't want to do, like, it was pointless for me. It was pointless for me to do any interviews if I'm not playing. So just to be in front of a camera just cause, like, that wasn't good enough for me. You know, like what is it that you really gonna have a conversation with me about? You know, I played as a true freshman and true sophomore, but I wasn't that guy. I feel like I didn't get enough playing time or experience for me to be in front of anybody's camera. So once I got my black shirt, it was earned. I felt like it was earned.
Yeah.
So it was a great feeling. I mean, knowing that one, that the coaches trust me, and my peers want me to succeed.
Man, I love that. And see, I've got to imagine earning that black shirt's got to be just an amazing feeling. I couldn't even imagine it. It was, man, the pride you've got to feel has just got to be unreal.
Yeah, because it's a badge of honor. I mean, when I was there and Bo Pelini gave me mine, they were earned, you know. And before that, with Coach Bo, they were earned. It wasn't everybody gets one type of deal. You know what I mean? And there were times, I want to say my freshman and sophomore year, it wasn't a straight 11 guys that had them. You know, it was 9, it was 10. It wasn't just clear-cut starters that had black shirts. You know, you had to exude what it meant as far as that pride, that effort, that hard work, that desire to be great.
And see, you brought up Coach Pelini. What was it like playing under him as defensive coordinator? Because I mean, when he came in, boy, he made this defense something to be feared again. It was something that had been lacking a little bit before him. So, what was it like to play for a man like him to add that fire?
Absolutely great. Um, he brought the best out of you. He didn't take no shit, and he wanted to make sure that his defense was going to be a top-notch and top-tier defense. And he took the same guys from a weaker defense, a subpar 7-17, and turned us into, we had the number one defense for 8 straight weeks, and we ended with I believe the number 5 defense. I mean, from a defense that was nowhere near on the map. I mean, we were up there. I believe we had 50 interceptions that year. You know, it was great. It was absolutely great. And he taught football different. He forced you to learn the game. And that's when my football knowledge completely changed. I wasn't just a robot running around. I'm now a football player who understands the game.
And see, that was something that people had criticism about Bo Pelini was maybe he made schemes too complicated for players to follow on defense. That was something that I never thought would be an issue. I don't think it was an issue. In your opinion, was it a kind of a more complicated schemes to learn on his end?
It wasn't. And the craziest thing about it is when I got to the NFL, it was the exact same defense. So talking to my other guys who had played, there were other guys who came from smaller schools or other schools, and they were lost. But everything was the same. Only thing I had to learn was the verbiage. You know what I mean? Because that's the transit, and it made sense. It wasn't anything that was mind blowing. It wasn't complicated. It was systematic. It was fundamental, and it was pretty concise. Once you learned football, it all made sense. So anybody who had trouble with it, you mean, I feel was not paying attention. I mean, the long and short of it, or couldn't grasp the concept. From my understanding, when Bo Pelini was the head coach at Nebraska, he had mainly 9-win seasons.
Yeah,
that's no slouch.
No, that's very hard to do.
And he's a player's coach. He may not be there for the fans or the faculty, but his staff and his kids, they'll run through a brick wall for him.
And that's exactly what people always said about him too. They would run right through a brick wall for that.
That's what matters.
It always matters. That's something that players had for Coach Osborne. Players had it for Coach Solich, Coach Pelini, now Coach Frost. I mean, it takes a certain kind of a man and mentality to be that type of coach that your players just admire and respect.
Hey, it's not an easy job. Somebody's got to do it, and but that's the turnaround. He's leading us to be men and guiding us to put us in a situation where we can become leaders of men ourselves.
Absolutely. All right, and this is something I really wanted to talk to you about because you were right there in the thick of it, along with obviously the rest of the players and the coaching staff. When I guess AD Steve Peterson elected to let Coach Solich go, you guys, especially yourself, Benard, you were very vocal during the press conference about your displeasure of the decision, which right there with you, never thought Coach Solich should have been let go. But can you take me through firsthand experience, like inside the team or just inside your thoughts in general when Coach Solich was let go?
It was like a backdoor situation. Like he didn't get a chance to address. He didn't get a chance to really address us how he wanted to. I forget how I found out, but when I found out, like I was pissed. Like you don't you don't fire Nebraska has not been the same since.
No.
They were on their way with Pelini, but after that, I feel like he set a curse in motion. You don't fire anybody after a 10-3 season.
No, it's ridiculous to even do that. He was doing just fine, in my opinion. Had some bumps and bruises, but he was still a relatively new coach to the team as far as being a head coach.
One bump.
Yeah.
One bump with a 7-7 year, and that was the year coming off of a national championship. Yeah. He changed the staff, had a number one defense, offense, everything was clicking, and they let him go before we go to play Michigan State. And we want Michigan State with the exact same people. That was his team. The win was for him. And it showcased what Bo Pelini could do and the type of staff that Coach Solich led. I mean, there was, I just feel like it was a bad call.
I couldn't agree more. And going into that bowl game against Michigan State, having Bo Pelini leading you guys as interim head coach, what was his message to you guys in the locker room before coming out of that game? If you can repeat it, that'll be the big thing. If you can even repeat it.
I mean, just take care of business. That was it. Expletive. Just take care of business. I mean, that's what everything was all about, man. Is when things happen like that and you feel disrespected and you feel like you want to take it personal. I mean, put a plan to action, execute, and take care of business.
Hell yeah, I could not agree more. All right, so winding down the career at Nebraska, we'll get to the something I've always wanted to ask, and I don't know why I haven't gotten around to it, but you seem like the right guy to ask this to. So, what is senior day like, and how amped do you get with emotions on that day?
It's a shitty day.
Oh.
It's a shitty day. It really is.
Just notice that last day inside Memorial Stadium.
That's your last. It's your last home game. It's your last. Yeah, man. Like it's a great day, but it's they celebrate it, but they make it. That's when it becomes real that you can't do this for the rest of your life. It's like, damn. I mean, I gotta go do adult things, and try to make a career out of this after this. Like,
Kind of gives you a little
you
shot of
know,
reality for a second, I guess.
yeah, it does. It puts things in perspective, and then, when you watch the video and see everything, it's a great feeling, but it's like, damn, this is the last time I'm gonna run out of this tunnel and knock the shit out of somebody on this field.
Man, Benard, I got to tell you, your mentality, man, that is something we're missing, I think. I mean, we might have a couple, 2 or 3 guys on defense right now that may have the same type of mentality, but I think this is something we're lacking on the Blackshirt side. Is that something maybe you'd agree with? That, as you said earlier, today's kids are a little bit softer. It's harder for them to take a hit.
You don't see no dogs out there. You see guys that are trying, but it's a difference, and everything worked from the top down. So everything was just, but and I believe Scott is trying to point these guys in the right direction, but I just don't feel like the kids are bought in because they're so soft, And Scott is a strong jaw, hard nosed guy, and he knows and he understands. But it's the culture that has to change. Once that culture changes and it gets back on track, then we can start making our way up to the top. But you've got to get kids. You've got to get kids that are going to be able to buy in and understand that if you want it, you have to work for it. Everybody's trying to play. Everybody's trying to play right now, and they opened up a transfer portal that's it's kind of killing the game.
Yeah, that's a whole nother can of worms right there. That, I mean, certain times I suppose it's beneficial, but in my opinion, it's been way more hurtful to the game of college football than it has been beneficial. So, all right. So, see, I watch you how you interact on social media, and seeing someone use the platform to help better their community and the youth of that community, it always amazes me. I love seeing that, giving back. That being said, though, you do that with Silverback University.
Yes,
What is Silverback University? How did it all come about? What is the genesis of it? Where to get started?
Silverback University is just thinking about having, a guerrilla mindset, that strong, hard nosed ability to overcome anything that's put in your way. We want to. The goal for me is to build mentally and physically tough men and women, whoever comes around, that can handle life. It's more than just training. The things that I do and how I move with my guys, it's really about building the youth. Once you get out of college or out of high school, if that's your last stop, the real world isn't easy. And if you are not mentally tough or not in a situation to sustain, you're gonna end up having a hard time. So the youth that I try to work with, football is the driver and sports is the driver. But other than that, these young men and women have to understand that there's more. And with more comes a different type of situation that you have to be able to handle. And if you're not strong here and in here, things get difficult.
So, how would somebody get in touch with you to start something with Silverback?
Just reach out. Just reach out to me on any of the social media I have, and we can go from there. Anything that I've learned in life that I have the ability to pass down to anybody, I'm willing to do it. That's the only way you curb and correct the things in the future is by trying to prepare. I mean, it's all just like a football game. I mean, hey, you got training makes practice easy. Practice makes the game easy. The game should be the easiest thing. I mean, and with that being said, if you've got practice and you've got training as far as life lessons, it'll make life 10 times easier. You'll be able to handle the ups and downs, and you'll be able to handle the different situations and the people that you encounter, so you yourself can be successful. So, I mean, God put me here to help. I mean, so any and everybody I'm able to help and do something positive for, that's it. That's all I want to do.
All right. So then I guess for final questions, say 5 years from now, what is the ultimate goal for Silverback University?
The ultimate goal 5 years from now for Silverback University would be being able to create a platform where I can mold multiple several individuals with a facility and be able to point those kids in the direction of college. I mean, basically just taking what I'm doing now and expanding it. For me myself, my ultimate goal in 5 years is to be on somebody's college coaching staff. I mean, so maybe I can set Silverback University up to help me funnel some kids to Nebraska.
Hey, we'll take them. I mean, like you said, we need some Silverbacks, man. We need some gorillas. We need that animal mentality. We need that on this team right now. It's pretty obvious. So, all right, Benard, I want to turn it over to you real quick. I want you to let people know where they can find you on social media. Any organizations or other charities you may be involved with, please feel free to give those a plug. The platform's yours, my friend. Go ahead.
Hey, so Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, Silverback University, or anything you see that says Benard Thomas. Hey, feel free to reach out. I'm here. Hey, if we gotta talk you through life, talk you off a ledge, if we gotta get your mind right, going back in the right direction, just give me a shout, man. God gave me a purpose, and that's all I'm here for, is to lead people in the right direction through my mistakes, because I am not perfect. I mean, use my life lessons to help others.
Hey, none of us are perfect, that's for sure. And Benard, I can't thank you enough for this today. Now I'm going to close it out. I know your time is precious. So, guys, you'll be able to find this on YouTube. At obviously my name, Brian Knutson. You'll be able to find this on anywhere you can find podcasts for audio. That'll be Apple, Spotify, Libsyn. Take your pick. It's all there. You can find me at Twitter at Knutson_Brian. You can find the Scarlet and Cream Husker podcast on Twitter at the Scarlet Cream. Going to close it out. Benard, thank you so much. And I hope we talk again soon. Maybe get you and a couple other former Blackshirts on here. Have a little round table.
Anytime, sir. I appreciate it, Brian.
But thank you.
All right. God bless.